We're here in Austin, Texas for SFATA's annual conference, which is called Save the Vape and Save Your Butt. And we're here with April Meyers, or Meyer?
Meyers.
Meyers. And you're the CEO and board president of SFATA, is that correct?
That is correct.
You're head of a top association, and I know that we hear some apathy and suspicion over the years from vapers with regard to, say, the associations. Wondering, the people that are running these things, what's really driving them? What's in it for them? And it strikes me that you certainly are a vapor.
Definitely.
And you were a smoker.
Yep.
So share why you're in it.
Sure. So I was a smoker for about, I don't want to say how long, but over 20 years. And shamefully, I started at a very young age, which is younger than my daughter is now. And like probably most of the vapors out there, I tried a number of different cessation methods, and they never worked, and I felt like a complete failure, which was an incorrect assessment because it wasn't me who failed, it was the products that failed me. And ultimately I found vapor products, and I just got so insanely excited about it. And as luck would have it, I was unemployed at the time, so I started this business and it just blew up from there. And that passion never ended. So very shortly thereafter, a legislative session came up in my home state. I jumped right in, and here I am. So,
would you characterize SFATA's position right now as on a war footing?
Absolutely.
How so?
Well, we really don't have a lot of time, and when you don't have a lot of time, it puts you in a war footing because you're either going to take an attack position or you're going to take a defensive position. I kind of feel like we've been in a defensive position, and all we've gotten for it is beat up. And I'm tired of getting punched, and I'm ready to punch back. And I kind of feel that that's the running current of all SFATA leadership. Like we kind of unilaterally agreed on that. Like it's time to roll the sleeves up and punch back, unite, and lead the charge forward.
So who or what is the target of that punch?
So the essence of it is that we disagree in limiting adult access to flavors. And it's a wrong message to send. And then also to leave tobacco products in those C-stores where they can be visible to youth in any way, shape, or form with a very teeny tiny warning. Well, a vapor product that is unflavored has a giant nicotine warning. It is not right.
So how can SFATA push against that to fight back?
So there's a number of ways. One of the most predominant ways that we're doing it is also the theme to our conference this year, which is the Save the Vape theme.
And save your butt.
Save your butt, yes, which is your businesses or your own personal butt, because even as a member of the board of SFATA, as a business owner, I am also a consumer. So, and I certainly have no intention of ever smoking again. And so the Save the Vape campaign is put into place to change the public perception around the vaping narrative, which is an area we are getting killed in the press. So, and so we just literally saw the first video that came out from that. It states very clearly that we've got 500,000 people that die every year from smoking and smoking-related illnesses, and that we have the solution to that problem. But that solution is in conflict with pharmaceutical companies and tobacco interests who have spent millions of dollars throughout tens of years fighting and gaining their own interests. And they don't want us to quit smoking because it's not in their economical interests to do so. And so it kind of goes over, how nicotine's not really the issue. It's smoking that's the issue. It's smoking that kills people, and makes that very clear and pointed in the video. So we really are trying to separate the nicotine from the cancer and make that message clear, because that's where we seem to have a major public perception problem at this point in time, is that even legislators seem to believe that nicotine is as bad for you as heroin, and that is what kills people, and that is an incorrect assessment.
So what's the politics behind this? And I'm not talking politics as like Democrat, Republican, I'm talking more like progressive, kind of libertarian, conservative, not party, but right to do things with your own body.
Yeah, honest to God, I don't know what the politics are behind it, because you do have the right to do things with your own body. I don't know that anyone...
You clearly don't, though.
Yeah, right, you don't, because...
Because they'll spend $500 million a year
on a campaign telling you that you're doing the wrong thing and you're a piece of crap for it. But this does seem to be the only aspect where that's allowed, is this one issue, because even with heroin, they don't tell you you're a piece of crap for doing methadone. They tell you to go seek out a methadone clinic and get help, and we'll get you some needles, we'll exchange those for you, and please go get help, it's okay. If you are depressed, we'll go get you this medication. So every other, addiction or mental health issue, it's okay. They walk you through the process, so you're gonna get your hand held. But with this one particular issue, which kills 500,000 people each year, it's not okay.
That is the ace in the hole, isn't it, for opposition? They've spent a long time and a lot of money demonizing nicotine, and so that's in place in terms of what the public thinks.
Yeah, I mean, yes and no, because when I was a smoker, I lived in California, and I will never forget it. You would have people literally smoking marijuana on the streets, and people would high five, give them a thumbs up, yo buddy, totally cool. And I would light up my cigarette and get sneered at. And it was not that they were telling me the nicotine was gonna kill me at that time. They were telling me smoking was gonna kill me, and that I was a dirty smoker, and I was relegated to a second-class citizen. And so that mentality is there in relegating all smokers to second-class citizens. When vapor first came out, the original, so I entered the market in 2012. At that point in time, it was somewhat of a neutral setting. And then in my home state of Connecticut, it was originally very positive. And there was some embracement and excitement of, yay, you're no longer the dirty smoker, which is a horrible thing to shame people anyway, especially for a legal adult product. And then at some point later that year, it changed, and they started shaming people again for vaping when the narratives started coming out about popcorn lung and formaldehyde and these things that still pop up every time you hear a good study from our side. We seem to get the adverse, popcorn lung, never fails to pop up.
Do you think a lot of these people that were actually doing the shaming, regular people, shaming people they don't know on the street for smoking, are they the same kind of people that would, are pro-climate change and would be shaming people who are deniers?
No, I don't.
You don't think they're the same people?
No, I don't. I think they're normal, everyday people that have just been socially conditioned to shame because it's become socially acceptable.
So, but are they the same people that do all the social shaming now online for people for hate speech?
Yes.
Okay, so they're those same people.
Yes, which is a shame.
So maybe then vaping, to tease this out a little bit, listening to you, maybe part of the problem that vaping has had, and then smoking in the big shaming part of smoking that happened, it was one of the first outlets in which a massive kind of societal campaign happened where people en masse believed it was okay to shame individuals that they come across in their everyday life in their community and shame them and degrade them and depersonalize them, demean them.
Correct. Well, and it became socially acceptable from the agencies that should be assisting these same populace, because it was those campaigns that created it. Even the FDA campaign that's out there now, the Real Cost campaign, is shaming the teens by saying they're gonna get worms in their brain, and it isolates them from their peers and tells them you're different, you're not okay, you're not good, you're a bad kid. And that's not a good message to send anybody.
I wonder if you can make a good argument that says that the advertising campaigns that are going on today, that the government is funding, are contributing to bullying.
They're creating an environment that creates acceptable shaming. I mean, it's been very effective, because let me tell you, I did feel dirty as a smoker. I mean, deep down, like I didn't want to, but and I think a lot of people would say that too, like, I never wanted to quit smoking. That's why I still vape. Like, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the release. I enjoy the feeling of inhaling, but I knew it was gonna kill me. So the only reason I wanted to give it up was because I was the donut that had a black belt in martial arts and would go teach a class and then would go outside on the break and light a cigarette and felt like a hypocrite. And then the parents would look at me like, I'm not gonna let this woman teach my kids because she's dirty. So I felt shamed of what I was doing, and I would hide around the corner and wash my hands and do all the things to just get it off me so that it wasn't, ingrained into who I was, this dirty person. And that's where society is, and that's now where it's turned for vaping. It's back to the shaming, and it's socially acceptable to do it, and it's wrong. It should not be socially acceptable to shame anyone ever. And if you do it, and here's the thing, if my kid came home and told me she was being shamed in her school, and I went and I told her principal that would make the front page news about bullying in school and how horrible it is. But when it happens to an adult who's making an adult decision that's about a legal product, it's okay because it was set up that way through the public campaigns.
Is it a class issue? Like, is it a disdain? Because the way you described it, like that dirty.
Yeah, I mean, I think some of it is a class issue because you do find, and we just had a speaker that was talking about this, that we have a number of persons with mental health issues and in lower economic classes that have a propensity to smoke. It's economically driven, and it comes from drama and stress, and that's what she was focusing her presentation on, and that's what she focuses her life work on. That's Helen Redmond, and so some of that is class driven, but it's gone beyond that at this point into just this automatic stereotyping of, if you do this, therefore you're making bad decisions. You're a bad decision maker, therefore you must be a bad person. And that, I think, is what this Real Cost campaign is doing to our youth right now, and going to do to our youth, and say, you made a bad decision for yourself by picking up this Juul product or whatever product they chose up. Therefore, you're now a bad kid, and they're designing and designating their life for them before their life's even started.
That's brutal.
It's horrible.
So I'm sorry, I'm about to ask a question that I certainly know the answer to. Like, when are normal people going to wake up and realize that, no, I don't know.
But I don't know they are, because they're the ones, that's what I'm saying. It's normal people that are doing it.
Yeah.
Because they've been permitted to. They've been permitted to through decades of campaigns to create harm reduction, and part of that harm reduction is backfired because it's created this permission to shame.